Hey, Jeanne, just want to say thank you so much for joining us today on the Coach Launch podcast. Really good to have you here.
It's great to be here.
Excellent. Guys, welcome to the Coach Launch today. We're excited to introduce Jeanne Omlor with us, a remarkable business strategist, a multi-seven-figure online business coach. Jeanne's inspiring story is turning her life around from being a solo parent in debt, achieving multi-million dollar success is nothing short of awe-inspiring. Her journey highlights the power of resilience, mindset shift, and a strategic insight on how she shares with nearly 500 businesses, helping them thrive. So let's delve into Jeanne's incredible journey and learn how she's helping others reach their full potential as visionaries in their field. So good to have you here. Shall we dive in?
It's great to be here, Matthew.
So good. You got such an amazing story. I was reading before that you had a lot of struggles before. You've come from quite a place of humbling. You're a single mom, you have kids, and you got yourself into debt and that. Can you maybe go back a little bit and we'll start at the beginning and share with us how this all started? Where did your journey eventuate from?
Well, I find that this thing where people go, I did that and then I was a success. I just can't relate to that because is that just me? That's this long period of nothing great going on, and then you get a little bit better, and then so mine is not. Oh, I was poor and then I was rich. So I started coaching 13 years ago. Okay, and it was
Wow.
8 long years of doing okay, the whole networking thing, and it was painful. It was not really what I wanted, and I thought this is so long, 8 years really not exploding because we all want it to gallop along. And so finally, 6 years ago, I was at that point deep in debt, and not because of irresponsibility, because of legal bills. Okay. And I thought, you know what? I woke up and I was 54 and I thought, this is not what I want to be. And I tried a lot of different things. And I thought, I really need to figure out how to get online. And that just has to happen. Now you're going to love this, Matthew, because I thought I've got to learn how to do Facebook ads, or just what that is and how to make that work, because I thought that was the answer. I joined a program, which was a high ticket program, and I thought they were going to teach me Facebook ads, and that's what they were teaching. But I realized right away, stepping online with no online offer that was established and which was not validated, really shouldn't be running ads right away. And I saw that it wasn't working, and I thought, gee, I really need to figure this out because I now paid another 10K. I've got to figure this out. And I said, this isn't going to work for me. And they said, oh, no, you're right. It's not going to work for you. I said, yeah, I just paid 10K. So what do I do? And they said, you have to do organic. And I'd never heard of organic marketing before, literally. And I said, what, like carrots? And they said, no, not like carrots, Sean. And I said, what then? They said, I said, what do I do? And I said, what is that? They said, you can get clients online through social media without running ads. I said, really? So how does that work? Do you have trainings on this? And they said, just go talk to people. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have to go talk to people. So I did. I just talked to so many people, and I figured out this system of organic marketing, first on Facebook, then on LinkedIn, then Instagram. And I started getting high ticket clients, and it blew my mind that I could be on social media and get clients with no ads. Now, you might think that's weird that I didn't know that, but I didn't. I had no idea.
Yeah, there's such a big world of marketing and things that you can do. Even in our business, we speak to people and they do so many different things. Like you don't have to be caught up in one pigeonhole. It's what
Mm.
makes you, right? You got to be you in this world of marketing. And there's a few different ways to go about it, but that's amazing. Finding out how to do it organic, because that's what a lot of people want to aspire, right? Let's not pay for ads. Let's rather go do it in a more cost-effective way, because we do a lot of ads, and you have to have everything dialed in. It has to be really
Mm.
perfect. Everything has to be like right tuned in whereas with organic, it's more of a nurturing process, and people come in warmer because they've seen you multiple times and they're in a world of your sphere of influence, and it just makes it really good. Now, let's take a little bit of a step back. You initially started out you're a solo mom, right? And running a business as an entrepreneur, as a solo parent, is not an easy thing, right? Tell me,
Mm.
what's it been like for you on this journey coming from, you said you were in debt from legal reasons, and you obviously, you've been through a lot, right? 8 years is a long time to work through your stuff. And we all know, I know, that entrepreneurship is not easy. There's all this stuff out there says entrepreneurship is easy, but it's not.
Mm.
Yeah, people saying it is are struggling, right, to make things work. We all have to battle through entrepreneurship and business. What has it been like for you? What has been some of the struggles that you've worked through and gone through in your journey?
And honestly, I didn't have the right coaches. Like I had coaches and I thought, is this it? And I always was thinking, is this it? Because this isn't really working. I was getting clients, but it was so hard to be out there networking all the time. And I just thought, there's got to be, is this it? Is this all? I think what's really important is that you meet the right people, that you really get the right information. And you don't know what you don't know. And then when you start to figure stuff out, you're like, oh gosh, I wish I'd known that so long ago because I would have done that. Now, personally, I wish that I had run ads right when I started my coaching business because I would be a billionaire by now because they were working 13 years ago. Anybody clicked on anything 13 years ago? And then now I missed that boat because I wasn't techie. And I thought, oh, no, I'll do it this way. The coach I had was more offline methods. So that decision to work with a coach, not knowing that I could have, and I did know a few people were doing it. I thought, oh, that's just so hard for me because I'm not techie. But it's just the fork in the road, which place you're going to go. And then you have to, my one regret is that I didn't get online sooner and that I didn't run ads 13 years ago or 12 years ago or 10 years ago even because they were still working. So that's tough. I think it's tough when you look back and you think, I didn't have the information. And that's life, right? You look back and you go, if I'd known that. So I live in a state of questioning at all times. And I actually have my own podcast. And the reason for my podcast is to interview a bunch of people. And I learned so much from them. I've learned so much from my guests. So I feel like it's just another whole education for me and my listeners. So I'm always thinking, what is it right now that I just don't know? What is that? There's always something. And then you do a little research and you're like, now I feel a little better, but we're never going to know everything, but we just want to know enough that we feel like we're not missing something huge. So I think I struggled with that not knowing and not having great coaches that just could say, hey, you know what? You should get online because there's something called organic marketing. Y'all should do that. And also it was just, I think the biggest struggle is knowing you can do better and not knowing how to. I know I should be able to do better and I'm a hard worker. What's missing? And then when you figure it out, it's hallelujah. So I was so grateful when I figured out. It was just this huge eureka moment. When I started getting these high ticket clients, I thought, oh my gosh, this is not that hard. I'm going to coach people on this. And guess what? It still works. And by the way, you said something interesting. The nurture doesn't have to be that long now. Sometimes people see me on social media and they book a call and they literally sign up and they just basically become aware of me like a day before. So
Wow.
finding the nurture is shorter because we have such short attention span. Some people, and I feel that if people know me too long, then they don't coach with me because they go back into their fears and then I'm no longer this nice new shiny object. But it doesn't have to be that long a nurture. People dig what you're doing. They see your testimonials. They're looking at you. They're stalking you. They're looking and they're saying, okay, legit. She got a podcast. She has this. She got the website. She's all over the place. So what more do I need? I think that has made it a lot easier. But literally, there are some people that they'll meet me on LinkedIn and I'll book a 15-minute just chat sometimes. And they come ready. They come ready. The credit card is almost like out of their wallet already. They're like, Jeanne, I love what you do. What do you got? Literally. I'm like, wow, that's a sales call. I'll love it. You want to hear about my programs? Yeah, sure. I know. Or just tell me. I'm like, okay. Okay, I'll take the gear. Wow. 15 minutes sometimes. Not all the time. I'm not saying everybody does that. But I'm saying it doesn't even have to be a long nurture. That's also a fallacy.
So it is. I just heard it recently. My mentor just told me this analogy of people are like popcorn, right? Or our clients. We go to this world of a hot pan, and inside the pan is popcorn. Some popcorn pops fast, some popcorn pops slow, some popcorn will never pop. And I love that analogy because it's just that's how our clients come to us, right? And some people will react quickly and they're the good ones, right?
Hmm.
Lay down, give me the card, boom, ready to take action.
Yes.
And in my world, sometimes they just take a little bit longer. And you just got
Mm.
to add a little bit more heat, and then the popcorn pops. And that's the beauty about social media or having your organic presence out there, because over time it's always there. It doesn't just fade away. Whereas an ad is a pops up,
Yes.
it's there, and then it's gone. And if you don't have
Gone.
a of social media, organic stuff, it leaves you high and dry. And that's what a lot of people struggle with. That's why ads gets expensive, is because they haven't really built the foundation of that around
Yes.
them. Friction,
That
right?
nobody can, that was the problem. I knew, and I thought, wait, I have nowhere for them to see me really. What's interesting, after I figured this out, I was very stubborn. I thought, I'm just going to see if ads are going to work for me. I spent $100,000 testing all sorts of ads, and I didn't do it myself.
Yeah.
All sorts of digital marketers that said they were the best, and then another one that's the best, and not LinkedIn, beta LinkedIn, mainly Instagram, Facebook, over and over. And I thought, why is this not working? Then finally, people were saying, Jeanne, it just really doesn't work that well anymore.
Uh, it actually does, but it's
It,
about, this is a big thing that you bring up. I love this because it's one of the biggest reasons why we're doing well in what we do, is that a lot of business owners think that they can give their advertising to other people to do. There's this whole world of agencies out there. And I'm not knocking agencies. I'm just saying that there's issues in the industry, and
yes.
people give their ads to the agencies and they don't even know their messaging. They don't even know their own messaging. And so there's a disconnect between an agency and the owner of the business.
Hmm.
There's only one person that can really create creativity in the business when you're doing ads, and that's the owner of the business, because they know the messaging, they know the people, they know the avatar. If you try and communicate that information to somebody else that is not as emotionally invested in that
Mm.
journey as you are, you lose a huge amount of disconnect with you and your audience. And that's what a lot of people struggle with. That's why, for most people, ads don't work, because they want somebody else to do it for them, whereas
Hmm.
they should be doing that themselves. However, you just made a big point, is that it's too techy. I don't know how to do this stuff. And
Right.
so it comes that for people, like, how the heck am I going to do ads? What does that mean? And so this is what our journey has been, is to help people, educate them to be in control of their own
Mm.
advertising. And you know what happens? You know what's beautiful about what you do is that
Mm.
if you wrapped what you did around advertising, ads cost drop,
Mm.
you get so much better results, and it's a really powerful outcome then. They
Mm.
work, is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, no, I actually do agree. That's why I love organic, because you have to take ownership of organic. The funny thing is, a lot of people want to farm the organic out, and I'm like, no, you can't teach some VA how to do something till you know how to do it. But you know that whole till you do it yourself. Didn't finish my sentence. You know
Yeah,
that whole thing about people that want to just plug in sales teams. They've
yeah,
got to learn how to sell their own stuff first. It's all this magic wand. And so I have people that want to just farm out immediately. Of course, you can farm out certain things, of course. But
yeah,
I said, no, you need to be so intimately entwined with your own messaging to then be able to train somebody on that. Because you don't just ask a VA in the Philippines, take care of my business. That's not fair. And then
no,
say, oh, the VA didn't do a great job. The VAs don't do a great job often, let's be real, but you can't blame them for not running your business and figuring that out, because VAs are there for you to give them clear instructions of something you've already figured out.
love it.
Yeah.
It's true. 100% can relate and understand that. I have a friend who runs a virtual assistant business, and she said that many times. People come to me and they want my VAs to run everything, but they're not
Hmm.
experienced, and the people come, they don't have systems and stuff in place, so it becomes a bit of a wildfire thing. It's crazy. I
So
love
again,
that.
it's the sort of just slapping something on and hoping. I'm just gonna just you go do that for me. You figure it out.
We talked a little bit about limiting beliefs and struggling to break through. I think one of the biggest things in business is managing your own stuff right inside your head. And
Yes.
how did you come through? You started from scratch. You're a solo mom, and that's a tough gig, right? And you're working through all this stuff, and you started with nothing, I believe, right? You started from
Yes.
scratch to
Nothing.
go through a lot of limiting beliefs. What was that like? Tell me how you broke through them. First, tell me what those limiting beliefs were and how you overcame them and what that journey was, just to help people understand that, because I think a lot of people get stuck with this.
Right. Let's face it. it's wrangling a tiger, those thoughts. And I've always done a lot of mindset. I've been doing like creative visualization for a long time. But
Right.
it doesn't, just because you read a lot of mindset and done a lot of mindset, in the moment, we all struggle and wrangle the tiger with mindset, everybody. So the struggling, I think it was I always had hope, but I think it was, gosh, is this it? Am I going to be on welfare? What? And it's not like I didn't work really hard and I'm a beast, but I think it was, is this ever going to work? When is it going to work? And I never gave up. But I really do think it's that. And I think what really helped me was just to say, okay, imagine that you're already a $1 million coach. How would you act? I also did a lot. I teach my clients to do morning mindset every morning. That helped me a lot, just to get into another state in the morning of,
And that
no matter how
explain,
bad you feel, just
explain
get to a
what,
point. Sorry?
sorry, Jeanne, explain your morning routine. What would that look like?
Okay, so it's basically, I have a sheet about, okay, affirmations. What are my principles? What do I want to happen? All
Yeah.
right. And also I do a little vision board of the house how I want to look, my
Yeah.
image, the house I want to be in, things like
Right.
that. I don't care so much about the house I want to be in so much. I'm bored about that, but I live in a nice place and I'm happy here. The thing is, it's the talk of I am this, not I. So it's the affirmations. It's what do I stand for? What am I doing? And then I have like different quotes from different famous people. And then I also have a sort of to-do list that I cross off one by one, the
Right.
sort of things to do that are long-term things you just cross one at a time. What else is in there? Oh, also, yeah, the creative visualization.
What is
And
that?
even if you just do 15 minutes of creative visualization, just visualizing how, vividly seen in your brain of seeing the money come into the bank account. And I think the money thing was a block for most of us. And I would just visualize seeing the number in the bank account. And that actually really worked, because
Wow.
when I had gotten to $1 million, I didn't even realize it. And I thought, how much money have I made in 17 months? I thought, oh my goodness, I hit $1 million without even, my head was just down working.
Yeah.
Working. I thought, wait a minute, I'm adding up all the months, but let's add each month. Oh my goodness, I've made $1 million. And I had to pinch myself, literally. I looked at the numbers again and added them all up 4 times. And I thought, wow, I'm a millionaire, technically. I got to pay tax on that, but technically, I'd made $1 million. That was exciting. And I didn't feel like, ooh, I'm such a completely different person. I thought, wow, that's funny. Because the person yesterday that wasn't a millionaire now is. Feels the same, but what an achievement.
Okay. Love it. You talked a little bit about never giving up. I love that context. So that's the biggest problem with a lot of people that I see, is that they want the dream. They believe they can, but then they give up just when they're getting close to something, or they realize something becomes too hard, and so they change direction, and then they're off in another way. And that shiny object syndrome drives you nuts. It drives people nuts. Now, you started on a journey and you never gave up. Do you think that's
And I
intrinsically
actually, sorry, I couldn't give up. Because when
right?
I thought about it, I sometimes thought, gee, it'd be easier to give up. And I thought, okay, if I give up, what does that mean? That means I can't get a job because I'm overqualified or underqualified. And I got to still pick my kids up. I was homeschooling for a while, but then I had to put them in school. And I thought, so I'm going to get a job where they let me finish at 2:30? And what kind of money do you make? And I would be so depressed if I had to do that. So that's not an option. So what do I do? Oh, I can't give up. I have to make this work. There is no giving up. And I feel like when you have no option, there is no option. So you'll struggle with it. But in the end, that was the only solution. So I had to make it work. And it took a long time to make it work. Let's be real. Okay. It took a long time. It was like 9 years before I was like, critical mass, this is working. So I
That's
think
a lot of resilience. That's a lot of commitment. 9 years of commitment and resilience, sticking with your path, right? That
right.
not everybody has that.
It was painful because you wake up in anxiety thinking, this is not exactly how I want it to. I had successes along the way, and there was progress, but it wasn't that when I got online and that was an explosion of success. So exciting. When you have that explosion and you're getting a flood of clients, I'm like, wow, I'm living my best life now. And that was you want that just success. And that feeling, there's nothing like it when something just, the inflection point, and then it's the tipping point, and it's yes. So was it painful? Yes, because I'm a high achiever. And when it's not like exploding, I'm like, oh my gosh, how long is it? Was just painful. It is. And when I meet people that want to potentially coach with me and they're explaining, my heart starts to hurt. And I say to them, I know exactly how you feel. That is the worst feeling in the world, knowing you want something, you're working hard and you haven't figured it out yet, because you can't really enjoy your life. Because in the back of your head, even when you're at like Christmas dinner or taking your kids somewhere or on vacation, you're still feeling like, oh, the anxiety can kill you.
Yeah.
But
It's
getting
so
rid
fun.
of that anxiety and replacing it with other lesser anxieties. Oh, how am I going to get to the next level, which is a lesser anxiety? There's a measure of types of anxiety, I've realized. There's no longer anxiety of how do I feed the kids? And no, we're good. I could actually stop working if I wanted to with the investments and keep investing. So now it's just, okay, how do I fulfill my full potential in life and my full purpose? But it's not a debilitating anxiety like before of how am I going to feed my kids? That's
Yeah.
debilitating.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. And two things, you having your back against the wall, and I can very much relate to that, drives you, right? That's one thing. But you've got to want to do it, right? You've got to want to get out of bed. You've got to want to do the thing and to keep going for that many years until you get to a point. And that's the thing I found is that the more that you stick with something, the more likely you are to have success.
Not really. Not really. Because if you're doing the same things over and over again, you're in a rut. And they actually did studies on this, that certain surgeons that had been doing surgery for 20 years were no better than the surgeons that have been doing it for 2 or 3, because they just kept doing the same thing. They didn't learn anything new.
Interesting.
Interesting.
How would you reframe that then?
I'd reframe it that is, if you have a growth mindset, because you can't just keep doing something and go, okay, there's many people in the world like this. I meet them all the time. You're doing the same things and I'm good. They're not really good. They're suffering and they're living lives of quiet desperation,
Yeah.
to quote Thoreau. And that is the worst thing. I swear, that's the worst thing in the world, to live a life of quiet desperation, knowing that your single most precious life on this earth that you can't reproduce, you'll have another life somewhere else, I believe, but your precious life on this earth is being squandered because you are not fulfilling, not even your full potential. I'd say fulfilling enough of your potential to make you feel like I've fulfilled quite a bit of my potential and I'm good with that, because none of us are completely going to fulfill every bit of potential. So
Yeah.
I would say, if you keep doing something, yes, you're getting good at the stuff, that unconscious capability. But if you're not opening other things up to then develop other parts, no, you aren't going to be that good. And it might not progress because you're just good. Make sense?
So good. Yes. I love that. That makes a
You have
really
to be,
so much
you have
sense.
to want to make yourself uncomfortable to grow. It's
True.
like,
Yeah.
looks like you probably work out underneath that suit. Now, when people work out, there's micro tears in the muscles, which actually builds muscle. So you need to do a little bit of discomfort and destruction on a micro level to build. And I see it that way with development. You have to have some pain to actually develop.
100%. Love that analogy. Very good. Oh, very insightful. I love the quote that you spoke of Thoreau. It makes so much sense. I love that quote. And it's about living your best life, right? You don't want to be waking up with regrets. That's one of the worst things, right?
Yeah, living your best life. I always question that when I hear that. What does that actually mean? Sometimes living what is not your best life day to day pushes you forward and gets you to, like, living your best life. That could be that you're on vacation all the time. Is that your best life? Sometimes.
Mm.
Like, what is the best life can involve something that's not perfect. People say, oh, I bound out of bed every morning. I don't. Some days I don't want to get out of bed. I'm like, I don't really want to work today, because that's life. So I love what I do, but am I bounding? Maybe I'm not a bounding out of bed kind of gal because I'm not a morning person. So I feel like there's all these things that we're supposed to be. Why can't we
Yeah.
just be ourselves? I don't have to bound out of bed to be a successful, happy person. I don't have
So,
to get up at 5 a.m. because I'm certainly not going to be happy if I get up at 5. I'm not a morning person, and that's okay. So I feel like we need to investigate why do we have to be like everybody else? And they figured out with chronotypes that some of us shouldn't even be getting up that early. Okay. I shouldn't be getting up at 5. That's for sure. It would destroy my adrenals. So we need to figure out so that we don't feel bad about ourselves, because then it just leads to guilt and shame. There is no shame if you don't want to bound out of bed every single morning, because you might not be a morning person like me. Okay. Once I'm up, I'm happy, but I like sleeping. Okay. And we don't have to do certain things, and we don't have to be living in our best life every single second of our lives, because there's no growth in that. If your best life means sitting on a beach with a tequila or whatever they talk about in perfect, you know what I mean? The
I
best
do.
life is for you to decide what that is and what's going to get you there. And if that means going through a lot of pain to get there, then that's the springboard to your best life. Is pretty crappy life sometimes.
So good. Just so you know, I just woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning this morning to have this podcast. So
Oh, that's right, because you're in another time zone. God bless you for getting up for me.
I don't mind getting up early. I actually love getting up early. My typical is getting up at 4 a.m., getting some exercise in when it's nice and quiet in the mornings, no one around, no phones and mobile and anything distracting. Sometimes take a dog for a walk in the morning in the dark, and it's just so peaceful and beautiful. And that's my zen. I love
Oh, that's
doing that.
great. Now, do you
Yeah.
get to bed early or not?
Yeah.
You do.
Very,
Okay. That's
very
really
early.
healthy. I'm proud of you. Sleep is
Yeah.
so important.
I have to get my 8 hours sleep. I'm very committed on that.
You're
So
getting to
good.
bed at 8. You're getting to bed at 8 p.m. Yeah.
No, 7, sometimes 6 p.m., depending on what's going on.
Got it. Yes. Even
Yeah.
earlier. Wow. See, it's hard to have a social life if you get to bed that early.
What's a social life?
No
My,
social life.
my, but it's like this, right? I used to go out and have lots of fun with friends and drink, and that was my life back in the day. Now, my social life is the people that I hang around with, that I network with, like the people in my sphere of influence, like my business partners and the people. We don't go out drinking and socializing, but we're in a network that's fun and close, right? We have this kind of banter thing.
During the day. No, I agree with you. I'm laughing because I get to bed quite early, and I probably have a very non-existent social life except during the day. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's different. And then when you get older, you don't really need that. You just need the right people around you. You don't need
I yeah.
anybody around you. So that's important for me now, is to have the right people around me.
I completely agree with that. Yes.
Yeah. And make so much of a better life, I think. And if people that I try and do the thing where I hang around with people that are higher than me.
Mhm.
I don't want to always be the smartest person in the room. I want to hang out with people that are smarter with me. And that's been a really big shift in my life this last 2 years, and allowed
Mhm.
us to really accelerate our growth, because we're hanging out with people when they're smarter than you, like
Mhm.
hanging out with you. It just
Mhm.
motivates me and wants to make me better and do things better.
Exactly.
So let's go back to a few questions. You have a system or a process that you have developed to help people, right, with
Mhm.
organic and reaching out, doing the organic.
Yes.
Can you explain that? Can you give us a little bit of insight as what that looks like and how you can help our listeners with that model?
Absolutely. This is it. Okay, I'll go through it. The first thing you need to do, you spoke about this a minute ago, actually, or a few minutes ago. We need to first get clear on what we're offering and who's it for. Now, it
Mm,
might seem basic, but a lot of people don't know that, and they think it's going to be all right on the night. It's not going to be all right on the night. You've got
mm,
to establish something to sell. And I'll give the analogy that I usually give. If somebody says, I'm a coach, or I'm doing this, or they're making the target market or avatar or client or customer responsible for figuring out for you what they're delivering, which is weird to me. And nobody's going to buy that, because people do not buy lack of clarity or confusion. Nobody's going to say, here's some money I do, Matthew, but you seem amazing. You're just amazing. And Matthew, whatever it is you're selling, here's 10K or whatever. Nobody does, not one person will do that. Okay.
mm.
Like expecting people to walk into Walmart or Target or whatever you have over there. Okay. And we know it's a sporting good. So we're in the sporting section, right? And we're going to see a shelf, and there's a box with something in it and has a question mark. Do you think I'm going to pick that box up with the question mark and go to the cashier and buy it?
Yeah.
We know it's sporting. Not enough, right? We know it's in the sport. It was something sporting. I'm not going to do that. Why would a client do that? They need clarity on exactly what they're buying. You got to take it out of the box. You got to put it on the shelf and you got to put a price on it. And they can pick it up and look around. Okay. And that's what people are expecting others to do with their coaching. Oh, I've heard people say, believe it or not, people should just know what I do. When you unpack that statement, it's insane. People should know what I do. Really? Why should they know what you do? Why on earth should they know what you do? So we get very clear on what are you offering and what are the actual results, not some namby-pamby weird word that nobody can get their teeth into that they're not going to pay for, because nobody's going to pay for getting unstuck. They won't do it. Now we're unstuck. We're floating around in Mars somewhere. That is not a result. Okay, it's just not a result. Get unstuck to do what? So now I'm just in limbo because I'm unstuck. I'm going to pay for that? No way, baby. Okay, so who's it for? It's for everybody. No, it's not for everybody. It ain't for everybody unless it's toilet paper or toothpaste or towels, or that's for everybody. You're correct. But coaching, they say it's for people. Okay, people. Okay, great. Is a baby a person? Yes. Is it for a baby? No. Then it's not for all people, is it? You see my logic? People can't argue with this. So, what kind of person? Ah, now they're getting it. Okay, so it's a person. What kind? Is it a man? Is it a woman? Blah, blah, blah. So you got to get very clear. And you got to make sure that it's a marriage made in heaven. Now, what I've seen a lot of is mismatches. You will have a really good market, but then your offer, they don't want it. So that's a mismatch. But then you have a fantastic offer, kind of like what I had when I was in the Midwest, but there were no takers because they didn't want to spend money on my great offer. That was a perfect example. Fantastic offer, no market. So you got to marry that, and that's got to be a marriage made in heaven. First thing. Third thing is price. So that's the very offer, price, who's it for, has to be fantastic. Grand slam offer. Then we can do something from there. Then you've got to make sure that your messaging is intact. And it is, I've made this up, it's a dolphin call. So we have to make sure that your messaging, like on your social media, whether it's your banner on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, wherever you are, that the messaging is so clear for your avatar, we already figured out, that they're like, bro, this is me. Okay. So I call it the dolphin call. Why? Because I'm a dolphin. We always know we're a dolphin and we know our clients are the same. We're the same. It's usually you're coaching somebody that was you or is you. So we got to get on the same radio frequency, because that's what marketing is. It's just being on the same radio wave. So now they're swimming around, ignoring everything. And then they hear, ah, that's me. Ah, what do you do? Uh-huh. Yep. Me. Yes, I'm interested. Let's talk. Okay. So that's the dolphin call. Now, those things, once they're done and you dial that in, 3 things you do over and you get better and better at. Content that pulls people in. Okay. Lead generation, learning those messaging and how to do that, and the sales process. 3 things. You master those, Bob's your uncle, as they say in Australia.
Oh, like that. And is that part of your system? And is that how you're helping people?
That's the whole system. I just laid it out for you. That's the whole process. So simple.
So
Offer,
simple.
avatar, price, dolphin call. The dolphin call is not, now the 2 things that people struggle a lot with are the offer, what to put in the offer, price, and the dolphin call. If you don't get that trifecta, and of course the 4, you don't get that right, who for, grand slam, really valuable, better than everybody else in the market. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to say, oh, you know what? I spoke with 5 coaches that offer the exact same thing as you. That is death. It's got to be so much better that they say, wow, I spoke to 3 other people, but they don't offer what you do because you're amazing, Jeanne Omlor. Okay, so we make sure that me and my clients offer something amazing that nobody's probably heard of. And then price, and then dolphin call, not just some weird messaging that you think they should know what you do. No, that they're like, yep, those are my words. She's my people. That's it. I'm a dolphin. You're a dolphin. Let's communicate. So that's the thing they struggle. Once you get that, and then the struggle, content people don't really struggle with so much. Once we show them what we're doing to bring inbound in as well, they learn it. That's fine. It's not really a struggle. I teach the content. but it's the emotional struggle of reaching out to people and learning how to speak to them and not in a weird spammy way. Now, here's the funny thing. I feel like there's people going around secretly teaching people that you must be spammy, or maybe they're just learning it. Because I've noticed that all people that have never done marketing before, when they say, oh, this is what I was thinking of doing, I'm like, where did you learn that? They just, by absorption, think that you're supposed to spam and be weird to people. And I'm like, you've never done this before? And that's so interesting that the first stop is usually being spammy and weird. And I see people do that. So you got to do not what people do. You got to do the opposite. And they're like, oh, so we try to break people of that horrible habit of being a bro marketer when you're not even a bro and just being weird and spammy and not personable.
Yeah,
But it's fascinating to me that they always just spam. And I said, do you enjoy getting messages like that? No. Then why would you do that? So it's about heart-to-heart communication where you're not spamming, where you're being transparent, and you're not pretending that you're interested in their services when you're not. The bait and switch has to go. And you're also not pretending that you just want to refer them because it's not true. Because when you do that, people just feel abandoned, they feel betrayed, and they're pissed off.
Yeah, so true.
And then the next part that people struggle with, they struggle with it all, actually. They struggle with how to sell. There's a right way of selling and there's a wrong way. Let's face it. Right way, tell the truth, don't lie, don't create fake stuff, and don't manipulate or be weird or be mean when they don't buy from you. Okay. Bad way, be manipulative, have a script that you follow to a T, and try to see how you can manipulate people into buying something they don't want or need. Okay. And when you do this heart-based selling, you feel great about your business. The person working with you feels great. And there's no weird feeling of, oh, they forced me to do this, or that was not true, or who wants to operate that way? So this heart-based selling and authentic selling, integrity of selling is something that does work because I've made millions of dollars on it. So you can't say it doesn't work. And people are tired of being lied to. So all of that, again, they're taught bad sales. I'm like, what, is that true? No, it's not. Well, then why would you tell somebody that? Oh, that's right. Also,
Interesting.
we're in a culture where it's okay to lie. I don't think it's okay to lie. You shouldn't lie. Right?
Yeah.
Just shouldn't lie. Stop it. Why is that okay now? I'm bewildered at a lot of the marketing, honestly.
It's crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of noise out there for sure. I think it's a natural thing sometimes for people to send these weird messages out. It's funny when you were saying that, you're talking about the reach out or the outreach. I get a lot of people reaching out to me on Facebook and email and whatever. And it's like a night and day between somebody that knows what they're doing and is being authentic and somebody that doesn't. Just the other day, I had this guy message me, and it was just my head was blown. I was like, "Does this guy even know what he's doing? Like, how did he even come up with this stuff?"
The bot. There's a bunch of bots doing it. It's just they're using the shotgun effect.
Possibly. It did. Personally, I don't even think a bot would be like, check that stuff.
No, they're feeding in bad messaging to the bot that's just using a shotgun approach. But it's so weird. They don't even look at what you do. So I get these coaches that are not multi-million-dollar coaches that have just put me in some system of just coach, and they're spitting out by bot. I can see it's just spitting it out because somebody said it's just and of course there can be value in all those numbers, but what you're doing is you're destroying your reputation because I don't take that seriously. And then they ask you, so tell me what you're working on right now. Do you actually think that I have time to talk to a stranger and share with them what I'm working on? I don't have time for that. If they looked at did some research, they'd be like, you know what? This woman's a multi-million-dollar coach. Why would she tell some stranger because I'm lonely? It's just insane. I'm just like, got to stop that, guys. Tell me what you're working on. I'm not lonely. I personally don't need an internet friend.
What are you struggling with right now?
Exactly. Why would I tell you? I'll tell my therapist if I had one.
Funny. I love it. Yeah, you bring home a good point. So tell me, what does a Grand Slam offer mean to you?
Okay, a Grand Slam offer. Now, Alex Hormozy talks about that, okay? And a lot of people talk about that. And I don't know if my description is what he talks about, but it has to be that when people hear the offer, they're actually thinking, wow. Because not many people are going to go, you know what? I've heard another 10 offers just like this, but oh, okay, I'll buy it. Okay? They won't. So you need to work on the offer. And I'm pretty darn good at offer building because I've built over 600 of them and I can do it in 20 minutes. In fact, I was on a podcast building this digital marketer's offer for him. He invited me back on and he was taking notes furiously. He said, this was amazing. Okay. He didn't know how to do that because he's a digital guy. He said, can you come back and build my offer? Because he said, I'm going to call you on that. 20 minutes. I said, 20 minutes. He goes, Jeanne, you did build me a great offer in 20 minutes. So I don't usually do that. The point is, you have to understand, nobody cares. That's it. 2 words, nobody cares. People don't understand that. Nobody cares. What do they care about? They don't care that you're so amazing. See, I have something that I think is a gift. I do have humility because I know nobody cares. Okay, I get it. So my whole thing is, I've got to offer them something that they think is so good for them. It's not about me. It's not how great I am. None of it's about me. It's about them. It's, hey, if I'm 100% sure that we can help you with what you just said, and only if we're 100% sure, I even run by what we do. And they're like, oh, okay, great. I said, I will not pitch you at all unless I'm already 100% sure we can serve you. And I literally, if I'm not sure, I say, you know what? I don't think this is going to be a fit. I don't know if we can give you that. And they don't even know what the offer is sometimes. So it's this thing of not being desperate just to throw the offer and shove it down people's throats, right?
So
So
what is
it has to be.
when you say good offer, like there's such a lot of broad terms around, you got to have a good offer and it has to stand out. And I understand that. But what is it about the offer? What's in it that makes it so special? Is it the name? Is it how it looks? What are the ingredients?
No, definitely not the name, because nobody cares, Matthew. Nobody cares about a name. Nobody cares about us packaging. Nobody cares about that. They care only about one thing. How is this going to rock my life? How's this going to rock my world? I need help. I'm a coach. I'm not making enough money. Let's face it. That is why people come to me. I'm not making enough money. That's all. And I'm a dolphin because I struggled that for years. So they get it on a very visceral level. Jeanne's been through this because I'm very open about it. Okay. I get you. I hear you. I'm a dolphin. You're a dolphin. Great. And when they're transparent and they're like, Jeanne, I just don't know how to get clients. Great. Now we're talking. Okay. How do we do that? My offer is not, you know what? You get this and you get that and a bell and a whistle. Nobody cares about a bell and a whistle. How is this actually going to work? And then, for instance, I'll tell you about part of my offer that nobody does. I have unlimited one-on-one in my offer. And people, when I say that, they go, what? A multi-million-dollar coach that actually gets on, it's group one-on-one hybrid, which works better than any model. We all know that, okay? Other coaches, we have an expert in organics, in heart-based sales. We have a content and copy coach that used to run Universal Studios video content department. We have a mindset coach that's an absolute genius. She's also a healer, okay? There's me, and then a head coach. Great team, dialed in, clockwork, okay? And you're struggling? You don't need to put a support ticket in. You don't need to explain why you need a call with me. Unlimited. And they go like this. They go, wow, you're telling me that I'm going to get unlimited coaching with you and or the head coach? I said, yes. Their mind's blown because they're used to hearing you get one-on-one here and you have to beg and you have to put a support ticket and get online and you have to explain why you want the coaching. You know, a lot of coaching companies, they'll take the money and then you have to jump through hoops to actually get the coaching. See, I don't dig that. I think it's immoral. So I won't do that. I want people to feel loved, wanted, helped. My goal, results quick, collapse time. How do we do it? Unlimited. Also, they can text me whenever they want, even on weekends, and ask questions. You know what? I was in IKEA one weekend. Somebody asked me a bunch of questions. I sat down on a couch and I left a bunch of voice messages. She said, thanks so much, Jeanne. I just needed that. So my thing is to treat people with love and not waste their time. So that's revolutionary because nobody's heard that before. Wait, you're telling me I was coaching somebody on Christmas once. She was in Europe. She sent me some messages and I was just about to sit down and I said, sure, because she really needed the help. She said, wow, you're coaching me on Christmas. I said, I don't want you to waste a minute. So that's a Grand Slam offer right there. what's something nobody else is doing. That's
so
what I'm
good.
doing. So when they're zigging, I'm zagging. When they're counting their profits up the wazoo and going under because everybody's sick of them and the spamming, I'm serving more. Get it? Because a
Yeah,
lot of the people are no longer around that I saw around it 6 years ago. They're gone. People were tired of being scammed. They were tired of paying all the money and then being ignored and treated badly and treated and shamed. Treated like, oh, why do you need the help? I didn't understand that. I thought, why am I being, well, I paid you a lot of money. Why are you being mean to me? That's weird, strange, right? So I learned a lot what not to do. So that's just one example. Okay. Also, we have not a guarantee because you're not allowed to use the word guarantee in America. The FTC will be on your case like a ton of bricks. I have an agreement in my contract that the people need to make at least the same amount of money as they invested or bust. They're like, wow, you're telling me there's no risk? No, if you do the work, there's no risk. So there is no, oh, what if it doesn't work? That's the pain. What if this doesn't work? It will work because I am agreeing that we're going to work with you till it does. That's different. So it's
that's so
not,
good.
no, it's not the packaging or anything like that. Nobody cares, Matthew, nobody cares about that. Nobody cares whether I'm wearing a ball dress or looking like a model or not. Some people, some women coaches that coach with women coaches do care about the whole glamour thing, but my clients do not care about my market.
So good. Writing a few notes down here, I wanted to play back to you. So what I'm noticing in your offer, from just what I know, so it's so cool. You've got these amazing experts that are part of your offer. These guys are killer, right? You put this
Yes.
amazing team together. You collapse time for your audience or your clients, by giving them
Clients, yes.
acceleration. Yeah. You have high value, high level accountability. Like next level, you're open to do one-on-ones at unlimited. It's amazing. That's next level stuff. And you've removed the risk,
I've
totally
taken all risk out.
the risk
If,
off there.
of course, the risk is always, is somebody going to do the work? But if somebody is going to come and do the work, there's no risk. If they come in
That-
and they don't want to do anything, then nothing will happen. So
Exactly.
that's the
So good.
one thing you must, however, do the work. But then people say, oh, what if I don't do the work properly? And I'm like, you know what? I know when people are doing the work. If you're struggling, that's no biggie. Fine.
Yeah.
But if you're not doing anything, we do know because there's all the
Yeah.
coaches, we pick up on that pretty quick time, right? Because
Yeah.
a lot of accountability and check-ins, and we know when somebody's not doing the work. So when somebody says, well, I am doing the work, I'm like, okay, show me what you did. Oh, so you didn't actually do the work. Not really. It's
So
easy.
good. I love it.
But struggling, sure, everybody, see, people do struggle, but what we try to do, people only struggle because it's their mind is struggling. That's all. That's why we have the mindset coach. It's really all in the mind, the struggle. What we're telling is not hard to do. It's
And
not hard to do.
and your offer is literally a grand slam offer because
It is a grand slam offer. And then we coach our clients on that process. They might not be doing exactly what I'm doing because some of them are one-on-one coaches, but we can still add stuff that makes them say, there's the defining factor. There is what makes them stand out. Now, I know offers like the back of my hand, so I already know when I'm working with a life coach, I know what all the other life coaching offers look like. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to make your offer better than all those everyday garden. You see, people have this thing, I'm going to be like other people. Why do you want to be like other people when they're mediocre? Why? And then they get the aha moment where I say, you're going to be better than all the other people. And they're like, oh, now I'm getting it. I'm going to be better because I'm going to be the person they all want to work with because they've never heard this before. Does that make sense?
So good. I love it. Yes, 100% makes sense. And I think that's a very valuable discussion that you have in there. And I want to just dive into a couple more questions because we're going to run out of time in a second. So you've been in the space for a while. You've made a lot of money doing what you're doing. You have built up your lifestyle. It hasn't obviously been a straight path. You've had some rocky roads along the way. There's from you help people create content and do the organic outreach, and you helping them build a business without having to spend money on advertising, which is really powerful. Now, there's a lot of people in our world and people that'll listen here what would you say to them if they're starting out or getting into the coaching space? What advice would you give to people right now?
Honestly, get help, because white knuckling it and saying, I want to figure it all out myself is just ego. You're not a hero. All you're doing is wasting time. I personally, even though I felt like maybe the coaches did help me, they got the business started. So let's be real, that's a reality. But do you know that I had a coach 1 week after I got certified as a life coach? 1 week. I didn't sit around going, oh, I'm just going to figure this out myself, because I was smart enough to say, what do I know about building a business? Zero. Why would I waste? And also, I had the time factor. I need to make this work now. So why would I dishonor myself and be an amateur by trying to figure stuff out that I just don't know? So get help. And get help is not the help that seems glamorous. I'll give you an example. Oh, Jeanne, I spent so much money on this branding person. You know what I'm thinking? Why did you do that? I don't say that because that's rude. I'm thinking, what? Because it's easy. Because you're farming out something called branding or something like that. Great. Now you have great photos of yourself. You spent $10,000 and you still don't know how to get clients because, folks, nobody cares. Do you know that I was already at about 2 million and all I was using was selfies? I didn't have professional photos that I had. And people would say, why don't you get some professional photos? And I'd be laughing thinking, why? Why? And I don't want to take a whole, I hate getting photos. I used to be an actress. I did get some, and it's good I did because I needed it for the podcast and being on stuff. But I remember thinking, why? Because you're a low achiever and you're spending a whole 5 weeks planning your shoot. And I thought that's just going to waste time when I'm raking in clients. So I figured out, I thought, wait, if I take a whole day off, probably losing about $20,000 because I usually get about 2 clients a day, or could be. Why would I do that? So I eventually sacrificed a day to do a photo shoot finally and fit it around. And because that's how I think, I'm a high achiever. I'm not just sitting around thinking, yeah, I'm just going to spend a day. Why would I do that? I'd spend a day doing that. So don't spend it on vanity of marketing and branding. What you really need is not a website right away. I'm sorry, folks, you don't need the website. Good news. My website was still talking about my executive coaching, so I couldn't even send people there. And I didn't have time to change it because I was, again, what was I doing? Raking in clients. So when you're raking in clients, you just keep your head down and you ride that wave, right? You don't go, oh my goodness, now I'm going to stop and get my marketing in place. So people were making fun of me and I was just laughing. I'm thinking, you know what? My selfies in my Tesla, which has a nice light, they're working for me. People love them. It's down and dirty. They're just like, oh, this is so raw. But all the people that don't know what they're talking about are giving you advice. Make sense? So these are vanity buys. Getting an office where you go actually work outside your home and pay for the rent. You don't need that. I'm sorry. Buying all sorts of furniture equipment you don't need yet. Paying for branding. You don't need branding. You don't even need a website. What else? Paying for SEO. There's things SEO can work, but I wouldn't go pay for it. What you want to do is you want to work out what are the business building activities I need to learn to literally shortcut, make the gap no gap. Okay, so between me and a client, my thinking has always been, there's me and a client. How do I make that no space between us? How do I do that quickly? Organic marketing. Because now I know I can go on LinkedIn and chat with somebody, get on a call, and I have a client. Whereas before it was like, oh, we got to get a website involved. And yes, of course, I have a website with 1 billion testimonials. But when you're starting out, you want to know, what's the fastest path to cash? What is that? Ask yourself, is it building a big website or is it writing a book? Is it paying somebody? That's another vanity buy. Is it paying somebody before I'm even getting clients to go write a book? No. Now you spent $20K on a book. You have no clients. You still don't know how to get clients. And again, what's my catch cry, Matthew? Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your book. Everybody writes a book. Literally, unless you're a PhD in something and then, it's on the New York but of course it costs about $1 million. Get a New York bestseller. You know that, right? So what's the fastest path to cash? What is that? Clients now. How do I do that? Do you know? No, I don't. Hire a coach. That's the formula. That's it.
Yeah. The fastest path to growth is working with people that have already had results, but you've also got to be careful and do your research and due diligence. Funny you say that about book. I just became a #1 bestseller this week. So
Congratulations. You know what?
yeah.
I also, this last week, I got my 100K YouTube subscriber. Okay.
Okay.
Nice. Love it. But it is a shiny object. Okay. And by the way, I am showing people how to get this because it does build authority, but you don't just go get this and think you're going to get clients. It's just a bell and a whistle, but handy to
You
have
gotta
it.
do the work. You gotta do
Yeah.
the work. You gotta do the work. Love it. That's amazing. And well done on your accomplishment for that award. It's not an easy feat getting to 100,000 subscribers unless you have the skills, which you have.
I actually figured it out how to get it.
Yeah.
And
There you
once I figured it out, it only took me 2 months.
Wow. So
I
good.
kid you not. So there are shortcuts, Matthew.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So good. So thank you so much for sharing all of your stuff today. I really have learned quite a bit from you. Really love that you've got this Grand Slam offer. And I think some people are going to be really excited about this. And quite possibly people are going to want to get to know you a bit more. How do the listeners find out more about you? And how can they get in touch with you?
There's my website, jeanneomlor.com. There's hundreds of client testimonials, and you can always book a call there. You can stalk me, Google me. I am on a lot of podcasts like other people's. I have my own podcast called Business Wealth Impact, which is mainly me interviewing other people. And I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm all over the place.
Good. I will drop a link in the chats, the show notes, guys, for you to be able to get hold of Jeanne and have a chat if you feel like it. So thank you so much for being a part of our show today. It was really awesome talking to you.
Thank you. It was very fun.
So good, Jeanne. Thank you.